Solid oak hardwood floors, the grandfather of hardwood flooring, is still the most popular hardwood flooring in the U.S., representing over 50% of the market. The average age of oak trees used for oak flooring is 40 to 50 years old, with a trunk diameter of 16 to 18 inches. The trees are harvested by large, specialized machinery. The tractors can grab, cut, and gently place the logs where needed. The logs then have the limbs removed and are cut to lengths from 10 to 16 feet. Consistency in diameter and length allows the most efficient processing and best yield from each log. In the end, 50 to 55% of the log will become usable hardwood, the rest being used to burn for energy or create pulp. Hardwood mills are located geographically where the trees grow most abundantly. Ideally, a wood mill will harvest trees located within a surrounding 200-mile radius. The logs will be transported by truck or rail car to the mill. The logs are cut and transported to the sorting yard quickly to inventory and stabilize the logs for storage. Upon arrival, the trees are sorted and graded. The highly trained and experienced grader seeks to maximize the yield and market use for each log. The sorting and evaluating is a continuous process from this point forward, with eventually over 100 people handling and visually inspecting the material during the entire manufacturing process. Once the logs are sorted, they must be stored for later use. Most logging is done during the summer and fall seasons when rain is less frequent. Logs can be stored for up to 12 months after cutting if kept wet, reducing the chance for insect damage or for the wood to decay. The ends of the logs are usually sealed with wax to further reduce the chance for moisture to escape. The logs are stacked in specially prepared areas to be sprayed with water. The water runoff is collected and recycled. The storage of logs like this allows year-round production, regardless of when the timber was harvested. The logs begin the processing by having the bark removed. The bark can be removed several different ways depending on the size and shape of the log. The key is to remove only the bark by allowing the cutters to follow the shape of the log. The water has softened the bark and allows it to be cleanly removed without tearing into the wood log. The head rig is the heart of the log processing. Cameras and lasers image each log, allowing computers to calculate instantly the best yield and where the cuts should be made to maximize the wood. Once calculated, each log is loaded and locked into a movable carriage, rotated to the proper position, and moved through a fixed bandsaw. The carriage will move back and forth, adjusting the log each time for the next cut. Notice the laser beam on the log, showing the operator exactly where the next cut will be made. Depending on the size and shape of the log, each will be squared on 2 sides or 4 sides. Once the log has been squared, it will be sent to the vertical resaw station, which cuts slabs from the log with the same type of fixed bandsaw. Notice water is used to help cool the blade and reduce dust. The logs travel on a semicircle round table conveyor, allowing them to re-enter the vertical resaw multiple times. Each log can be turned after each cut to maximize the yield. The log will continue to be cut and ride the round table, repeating the process until a rectangular center of the log is remaining. The remaining center of the log may best be cut with a gang saw, a series of circular saw blades better at cutting a uniform timber of this size. It will evenly cut a rectangular timber into 6 to 8 equal boards in one pass. Each rough slab from the vertical resaw station must have the length trimmed and ends squared. This is done by computer image to maximize the usable portion of each plank and trim away the unusable waste. The trimmed planks are sent by conveyor belt to the sorter. Each stage of the process further reduces the waste wood, squares the edges and ends, and better determines what grade the wood truly will produce. Oak is graded by the quality of appearance. This is determined by the amount of clear wood present on each plank. Experienced graders inspect and grade each plank. The grader will inspect both sides of each plank in less than 2 seconds. Electronic cameras capture the size, shape, and grade of each plank, assign it to a specific bin, and transport it by conveyor to the proper bin. Once full, the vertical bins of similar grade planks are dumped onto another conveyor for stacking. The planks are then stacked for air drying. Each stack is briefly submerged into an insecticide anti-staining dip prior to beginning the air drying process. Each stack is allowed to air dry for 2 to 6 months, allowing the moisture levels to gently decrease. Each stack is covered to protect it from direct rainfall and the top layer from excessive sun exposure. The stacks are left with a lot of open space between the layers to allow air circulation. The sticks used between the layers are called stickers. The stickers can sometimes leave a slight stain on the surface of the wood plank. The drying process can be slightly accelerated by using fans to force air around the stacks, but this will add additional cost to the process. The air drying will reduce the wood moisture levels to 18 to 22%. Prior to milling, the stacks of wood must be moved one last time to the kiln to reduce the moisture content down to the ideal 6 to 8% moisture level. This will take 7 to 10 days during the summer months, up to 20 days during the moist winter months. Steam is normally used to heat the kiln for this process. The drying process must be slow and controlled, allowing the wood to slowly continue its reduction in moisture level. Again, this process cannot be rushed, or the wood will stress, causing it to warp, curl, twist, or split. The wood planks are now dimensionally stable and ready for precision milling. Each plank is computer surveyed for best yield. The laser will show the rotary saw blades exactly where to cut. The width of usable lumber is predetermined and cut with a circular rip saw. This cuts the plank into long lengths and uniform widths. The most popular size of solid oak flooring is a 2 1/4 inch wide strip, although 3 to 5 inch wide planks are becoming very popular with consumers. At this stage, an extra 1/2 inch of width is left on each side cut to allow exact milling to the final finished dimensions. Saw operators make multiple chop cuts in each ripped board, cutting out the natural defects present in the long board lengths. The typical defects they are cutting out are large or loose knots, discoloration, mineral streaks, thin or decayed areas, insect damage, checks or cracks, splits, and narrow areas. The maximum desirable length is 7 feet, so they will cut a board if needed just to meet that length. This process creates a very random variety of lengths. The lengths are now sent to the tongue and groove mill head to mill the side profile of the tongue and groove. The bottoms of the planks are grooved and the top surfaces leveled at the same time. Precision in thickness and fit between boards is determined here. Once milled, another series of chop cuts are made to further cut out more of the defects from the clear milled wood. As you can see, the process is never-ending to visually sort and remove undesirable areas of the wood. The wood is stagger-racked in varied lengths to evenly trim the end of each board. The groove is milled into the trimmed end. The opposite end is now processed the same way, cutting a tongue into that end. Quality control tests are conducted at each stage for accuracy of mill tolerances. Accuracy in milling affects how well the boards fit together visually and structurally. Now comes the first of several inspections, sorting the wood by length and specific appearance value. Boards that need additional work are marked and returned for rework. Boards ready for finishing are marked and sent to a specific collection bin. A tremendous amount of experience is needed to visually grade the wood at this speed for proper classification. The wood is bundled by length and wood putty is applied to small blemishes or voids. Final sanding will be done at the finish mill to smooth the surface more and sand smooth any puttied areas. The factory finishing process is where the majority of the value-added benefits are today in pre-finished hardwood flooring. The wood is progressively sanded with 4 different grades of sandpaper, all to the exact same thickness. If a stain were to be applied to darken the wood, it would be applied, then brushed to uniformly coat the wood, especially to ensure even coverage around beveled edges. The planks then have a sealer coat applied along with heat, helping to fill the open pores of the wood to create a smoother final finish. several layers of polyurethane are applied one layer at a time to build up a multi-layered final finish. Each layer is applied, then cured dry with ultraviolet lights, which instantly cure the polyurethane. Some of the polyurethane coats contain aluminum oxide particles, which provides the finish with a very hard, durable wear layer. The final coat of finish helps smooth the sharp edges of the aluminum oxide and creates a smoother final product. The final inspection and visual grading is the last opportunity to check on all of the previous manufacturing steps. Material can be returned for additional work if needed. Remember that the finished product is random lengths and has to be nested in each carton to create the correct amount of square footage per box. Random lengths are also required for proper stagger during installation and to visually create the best final appearance. Solid hardwood cannot and should not be expected to be all of the same uniform length. Each box is then strapped closed and ready for shipment. As you have seen during this process, a tremendous amount of skilled labor goes into the manufacturing of solid hardwood flooring. It is labor-intensive and requires specific time amounts to process. Hardwood flooring being a natural product, we are extracting the best of what nature provided. Variations from board to board and character marks all contribute to the prized value of this product. Its enduring qualities, along with natural beauty, will continue to fuel the popularity of hardwood floors for years to come.